A general outline is a ceremonial evening that is grounded, authentic, tribal, community orientated, sacred. So we come together on the land, then the men and women separate, and we set intentions, we do our own, we learn ceremony apart. The men set up the sacred space and the women are doing their own beautiful things and preparing. And we have a fire, the men hold space around the fire, the women come down to it, and it's a beautiful ceremonial 45 minutes of the women doing something around the fire and then the men doing something for the women. It's really, and it's pretty specky. It's very unique. So
unique, yet it feels
ancient.
ancient, like traditional. Like it feels like it's something that we were meant to do. Like we were, really supposed to be doing.
That's what a lot of the feedback has been. This is what we need more of. This is what feels right. This is what connects us to ourselves, each other, the land, the sacred.
Yeah.
So people have said it's something important that they feel needs to happen at least once a year.
Yeah.
And that they connected with an aspect of themselves that they've never connected with before, and a way of being with each other in the land that they've never connected with before.
Yeah.
It's unusual, and I think that's also part of it, is because we're coming together in ceremony. It's a real co-creation. We're all equal. It's a very tribally kind of co-created thing. But it's also quite vulnerable. It's also challenging. You have to do things that are definitely out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about, isn't it? Really, taking each person out of their comfort zone to be able to become more aware of an aspect of themselves and their fellow human being that they perhaps weren't aware of before.
Yeah.
And in a strength and a connectedness. That's there. Yeah.
I think that's the magic of it. I mean, we set it up in a way that it's very gentle, so you're not like pushed out of, people aren't forced to do things they don't want to do or anything. It's nothing, but just the intensity of it, to be in ceremony like that. It's kind of it's unusual. So that kind of way of being out of the comfort zone, but nothing too challenging personally.
Yeah.
But also that sense of vulnerability is what people have spoken about, that after the ceremony there's such an instant like bonding with everyone, because each person has had to be so humble and vulnerable and willing to be there, and it depends on everybody. This thing working depends on everybody. So there's a real sense of connection and vulnerability, which then makes the after kind of party, hanging out around the fire till early hours, just really something beautiful.
Yeah.
There's an unusually beautiful energy there. It's very open.
With like exactly, open, detached. Like there's non-attachment there. There's no. I think there's another point raised by people, especially from women who have like faced previously in their life, like men who there's like this weird attachment that men because us men can be like this, where there's that sort of obsessive component, and women as well, but like there's this obsessive component and an attachment that women don't really enjoy too much. But with this fire ceremony, the way that it's structured, there's no room for that. There's no attachment. And just instead it's much more about holding space and honouring, rather than what can I get out of this situation that I'm in. Instead, how can I help create this situation?
Yes, I'm part of something bigger. I'm part of a community, and it's not an individual thing. It's honouring the masculine, honouring the feminine, honouring the earth. It's about something bigger. It expands us. It feels like it takes us into kind of different dimension.